At this time, I'd like to open the meeting of the Carver Conservation Commission for, what is today?
17.
The 17th of April. And our initial order of business is discussion of an enforcement order and plan for 17 Wareham Street. Mark? Yeah.
They were yelling at us because we were talking.
Might I borrow that pen so I can sign in?
No,
I
you
forgot
can't
to bring
close the
pen.
door.
Well, don't worry about it. Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Again, my name is Mark Garrett. For the record, I am representing Ashley Souza, property owner and my client on this project. At our last meeting, we had discussed status, and you had made two very specific requests of us, which were kind of carryovers, I think, from the previous meeting, but they hadn't been addressed. The first one was to remove the debris from the wetlands to the north of the abandoned upland bog. And the second was to finalize a site plan that showed the jurisdictional extent that the conservation has over that site by flagging the edge of the river, the bordering vegetated wetland, and in this case also a 100-year floodplain bordering land subject to flooding, which was completed. We were also asked to do upgradient setback staking of the 65-foot no activity zone in the bylaw, the 100-foot buffer zone to the BVW in the act and the bylaw, and also the extent of the 200-foot riverfront area. That has been done. In the packet, and I'm assuming Brooke had distributed it, there are photos that show all of what has transpired on site. So all of that work is done. The other issue that comes to mind is when you look at the site plan that was prepared and included as Exhibit 1, you will notice that a good portion of the site, if it's not already in use for something, is under your jurisdiction. We acknowledge that the four activities, the debris that was put in the wetland and then subsequently removed, the timber operation as it is, and the clearing of the wetland, the buffer zones down to very close to the wetland boundary, and in some cases right to the river in that one long finger projection, are all in your jurisdiction. I omitted, and I don't know why, I sent an addendum to Brooke yesterday. Also, there is the processed asphalt ramp that goes from the driveway into the abandoned bog. All of that is within your jurisdiction. And for those activities to continue, they would need your authorization. I am in discussions with my clients as to what they want to do and what they don't want to do. That's, I think, our next step. But what we really wanted to try to do was get compliant with all of your requests tonight. And I believe that there is an intention of wanting to do a site visit to look at the ground and compare the site plan with that. And we are prepared to schedule that if that is your desire. That's my opening statement.
I definitely think we should do
Thank
a
you.
site visit.
Right, and discussions in the hallway led to the decision that it might be best to do a site visit this Thursday? Is it Thursday?
Yeah, well,
Tomorrow?
we wanted to make sure Mark could be there.
Right.
But then, there's the issue, I know
Alan-
Tim won't be here Saturday, and Alan, typically can't do them on any day but Saturday, and I'm not sure about Dan, but,
But late Thursday,
you said you could do it
3:30?
Thursday?
Tomorrow. Well, Thursday is the best day for me, only, and I think for many of us, because Saturday is going to be a wash. Don the rain gear and put the boots on if we're going to do this on Saturday. I don't think anybody wants to do that. Sunday, obviously, Easter. I'm unavailable on Friday. I'm out of town.
okay, now a time on Thursday, that's what we're looking at.
For me-
Later in the afternoon would be
For me,
better.
the early afternoon would be best or late, and I say late as late as 6 PM, if that works for you folks. I have 2 appointments basically from 2 to 5, so I'm kind of tied up, so it's either before or after. My clients can't make it early, they would like to be there. If we could do this at 6 o'clock, that would work very well.
It works for me, but I don't want to inconvenience everybody else.
I think I can get somebody to take care of the wife while I'm,
Okay.
I don't know.
How about a little early, how about 5?
He's tied up.
Oh,
I
you're
have,
tired.
unfortunately, I have a chiropractor's appointment that I cannot miss. I just really can't.
so 6 o'clock,
6 would be great for me.
I can
Maybe we could get the chiropractor to come along and put you on the table, and you could be commenting while.
work it. I can
Knowing
work
my
it-
chiropractor, that's not gonna work.
Well,
I might have to file for him.
You could use the hood
Your
of my truck,
jurisdiction.
you know, what the hell. Yeah, I can.
I could try to get 5:30 if that works.
6 is good, as long as I know exactly what it is, I can.
Okay, let's figure on 6 then.
Yeah.
We still have about
6
an
o'clock.
hour of pretty good light. I
6
think.
o'clock at the site.
Yeah, at the site, and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, we don't have to move around a lot.
Yeah.
I think everything's pretty obvious, and we can discuss maybe some future, the next future steps out there, but that would get everybody set as to what we've accomplished to date.
Well, we can't discuss future steps out there.
We can
Because
talk
we have
about
a
them.
quorum, we
We
can-
can talk about them, we can't vote.
Yeah, obviously, it has to follow open meeting law, I understand that.
And I'll talk about them, because then, when it comes time to actually vote on them in the meeting,
17.
then people will be better informed.
At
So,
6 PM.
that's a combination of things. So, okay, so we'll agree to have a
Tomorrow at
walk
6.
tomorrow at 6.
6 PM at the site.
Yep.
Got it.
Before I leave, do you have any questions relative to the report? Did I cover everything that you wanted to cover in that? Have you had a chance to read it?
Yep.
No, we just got it this morning.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
had a chance to read it
Okay.
yet.
So I think it covers everything.
I think it did, yep.
It basically talks about, a little bit about the site, a little bit about what's happened, why we're here, what I understand your jurisdiction to be, and I think that you will be pleased that I understand.
I
what
glanced
you're-
through it, and I saw
what
you
you're
had,
doing.
I had zoning in there.
And a little bit of the explanation as to why what happened maybe 15 years ago is a little different than what's happening now in terms of ag uses versus commercial uses and that sort of thing. So I think it lays it out for you pretty clearly. Be certainly happy to discuss any differences that you have with my assessment. And like I said, we'd like to move this forward and get this buttoned up as quickly as possible. And that might require a filing of an RDA or an NOI down the road for the next meeting.
Okay.
Very
Hey, Mark, good.
Okay?
Sit
Thank
down.
you very
I
much.
just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you to you guys, too.
Yeah, you're really working
You
at
know,
solving
this
this,
is,
which is.
this is, you stepped up, and this is great. We're not trying to, I said this before, we're not trying to beat the hell out of you. But you can see why we had the concern we had when you start to look at where the 100 and the 200-foot boundaries are. That was the biggest reason that, we come at it from the angle we came at it from. So I'm all in favor of trying to find a way to make this work.
And I appreciate you saying that, and that's why we hired Mark, because we wanted to let you guys know that we are serious and we are taking this serious.
Well, I appreciate it.
It's been a learning experience, for sure.
One way to put it.
Never owned property on wetland before, but very knowledgeable now.
Yeah, after the first time you catch on.
Yeah, it gets to be an expensive education sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, well, if that's it, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
Okay,
tomorrow.
thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Shit.
Okay, see ya. And now we have Blake Christ.
$5 an hour.
I'm probably gonna be bringing mine if I go.
What's that?
Probably bringing the kids if I go.
Why not?
Now the talkers are gone.
I'll have Val, we'll have a good time.
So I'll be a +2.
They're still there. That's our talkers. That's okay.
Is that what they mean by
Hey,
open
who
meeting
broke the
law?
door?
That one won't stay, just that one's fine. I don't want to be accused of having an executive session meeting.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good, how are you?
I live at 91A Plymouth Street, and I had stopped by and met with Brooke, and just basically, I just wanted to ask permission to see if I could put a fence down the side of my property, 2 feet on my property line, not actually on the property line, so I don't have to to deal with the neighbors or abutters or anything like that, make sure it's on my property. We have wetlands on the property line. As you guys know, you've been on the actual site. I'm not sure if you remember whenever you did Wyndham Circle.
This is the
Godfrey
same
Circle,
wetland that's
sorry.
on Godfrey Circle?
I know Godfrey,
The
yeah.
little isolated one, you know, with the new lot.
Yeah, the new lot.
The new lot, yeah.
Right,
So
so I was
he's-
on Butter, and
Yeah.
that's where I probably met everybody, and you've seen my face
As you're
before.
looking at the property, are you on the right side or the left side of that?
So on Godfrey Circle sits here, the new property that
Yeah.
their gentlemen are working at. I'm 2 houses over on here on the back side of that wetland. That
But he's on
wetland
Plymouth Street.
ends-
Oh, okay, over there,
Wetland
okay.
ends on my property,
okay.
back here.
Yeah. he's on-
So basically, this side that runs down between me and the other couple that's here, I just want to run my fence. I would like the permission to run a fence in the wetland up to possibly the wetland's edge. And if so, if there's any restrictions of what kind of fence, my idea was to run a 2-rail fence that the wildlife and whatever back there could still enjoy their habitat and do their thing. I'm not trying to change any of that. If my dog's back there enjoying the property with me in the woods back there, I don't necessarily want it interacting or running over to a neighbor's. So I just wanted to run a 2-rail fence there and to be able to keep my dog on my property and to do that and see if you guys would approve that. After coming to that abutters meeting, I knew there was a lot about wetlands that I wasn't familiar with. So I just thought I'd come and ask permission before doing anything and see if, what your thoughts or instructions were from there. That's why I'm here.
Do you think the dogs would understand the fence? I mean, with some training and so on?
My dogs, I currently have a fence on my property.
Right.
My dogs are great with the fence, or I have one dog, it's a blue heeler. She's great with it. I can train her by command in the front yard, and she doesn't have any problems with it. It's actually other people's animals that I can't control, and that's where dogs and animals will be animals. And I can control mine by verbal commands. I can't control other people's. So personally, I just wanted to put that down my line, so I didn't have to deal with that issue.
So all you're gonna do is, put some wooden posts in about every 8 feet. How long is it gonna be?
I can roll it and come back to you with that number.
No,
Off
I
the top
just,
of my head,
ballpark, I don't,
off the top of my head, it's less than 500 feet.
And how far?
I know I have 500 feet from where the property is before the wetland, so that's my guess. It's not more than that. It's probably like 300 or less.
how much do you think it's in your wetlands area?
I can show you on here. I can show you the plan if you want to see
So
it.
it's above the wetland, though, the fence
can I
is
see that?
above the wetland?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'll bring it over to you, Tim, sit down.
We'll bring it over.
So that's the proposed, these are the ones that were on file downstairs. I think this one gives a better idea. But so where the,
So where are you gonna put the fence?
let me just make sure I'm looking at this thing right. So this is, yep, so there's there. So there's, I have a, what is it, I have like a shed that was approved, that was put in here before we
Right.
moved in.
Right.
So there's abrevieties here. I just want to run the fence right down here to the edge. And then that's all water, and I wouldn't be afraid of it, somebody else's. Right, so I just want to run it down the side, because my current fence stops like right here, proposed,
And you
where
wanna-
the street
yeah,
line is. And I
you
just
just
want
wanna
to
bring it
connect it
down.
from that corner and just go straight down to the edge.
So this is not wet, but you'd be infringing on this backside, is that what you're saying?
That's where the wetlands in the back.
Right, so this is actually a hill that slopes down.
Okay.
And then this edge is actually like, it's kind of like a marsh, if you guys remember that you were back there.
Yeah, it's a little it's an isolated
Right.
wetland, yep.
And it's not gonna become a stockade fence, it's just simply a,
2-rail
I'm
fence.
thinking-
Two-rail
I'm thinking-
fence, like a split
thinking
rail
like a
fence?
Right, like a split rail fence with a little green mesh wire there, and that's it. The agriculture, or the wildlife can do what they do, high enough for the deer to go over,
I don't have a problem.
enough for the dogs not to go over, or to deal with.
Technically speaking.
Yeah, I was thinking for some reason it was going, you know, like along the wetland, but it's
No, yeah,
actually coming
I just
down
wanted
that
to
way.
run
Oh,
down the edge of the
okay.
property line,
Yeah,
to the corner
yeah.
there.
don't have a problem.
These guys have, their dog is actually in a chain link back here, they don't come back here. These guys, they don't do leash or whatever with their dogs, and sometimes they interact back there. I just wanted to run mine so they didn't have to necessarily have any issues.
Good, I don't have a problem.
If, I have a question. If you're going to put the mesh in there to keep a dog from getting into your property,
Yes, sir.
how are you going to allow foxes and skunks and
The
raccoons?
holes are big enough for those animals to get through
Okay,
on the mesh. It's not like, it's not a chicken wire.
okay,
It's big enough for other animals to get through. Like I have rabbits and stuff in my backyard in the one that I currently have.
okay,
The turkeys still get over in the fence in the backyard. The coyotes are too big to get through because they're like the size of a dog. But if they wanted to, they could burrow and they could get through.
right.
Now, you're just running it down the side,
Yes, sir.
so it'll be open all over here.
That's the plan. I'm not trying to
And-
box it in.
Oh, he's just gonna run it down, he's not gonna,
I currently
Any of
have,
those.
the corner of the fence that's currently there is here.
okay.
So I
He's
just
gonna
want to
run-
connect
He's just
from
gonna run
here
a straight line
to
down,
straight down.
that's it.
That's
You're
all
not coming
I'm-
across or anything else.
And I had,
So
I had a
that,
gentleman come out and
they'll be
survey,
able to
so I
get
know
through.
exactly where the stake is. Since you guys were there last, there's actually a
Yeah, no
survey
problem.
stake marker that says this is the corner of that property edge.
Oh, okay.
So I can run straight to that. There's room for animals and stuff still to go around that without actually being in a marsh, so things could still go
Yeah,
around.
see,
Yeah.
if they
if it was
wanted to.
completely enclosed, I'd have an issue, but that's all wide open. He's leaving that all open.
Yeah, I get it.
He doesn't have to file it
If it was.
Are you running it all the way back to the end of your property line or just to the water?
I just want to run it to the end of that stake. That stake actually, the property line is before the water's edge.
That's future conservation commission.
All right.
Right. Right.
So really, it's this drawing shows a little bit more of how long it is in relationship to your house. Because it
It keeps going.
goes.
Yeah, but see, he's
So
talking.
my property
he's not gonna
actually
go
goes
into this.
into
Yes, he is.
the
He's gonna go.
wetland. That's why I like the other drawing.
And write us
All the
out
way.
like a letter.
You're going all the way to your corner marker,
The
correct?
corner mark that's out there is before that corner mark that you're seeing at the end of my property. My property actually goes into the wetland.
Okay.
There's no way I could get to that. I'd have to
Right.
be neck deep in waders.
Okay,
Vote on anything like that.
All right.
It would be.
So you're not going into the wetland?
Not trying to go into the wetland, no.
I mean, you could do it.
It's just into that 100-foot buffer mark,
Yeah.
and that's
Right.
what I'm asking for permission for. Is to be able to go to that staked edge.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
He still would have to file, make a formal request, and he'd have to get a letter or a variance from us so that a future Conservation Commission didn't find him in violation of the wetlands. He
Brooke
needs
can
to
write
get-
out a,
He needs to get a written permission from us. Well, I don't want to
Brooke can
make the
write
guy file an NOI.
No.
no,
not
she
in-
could just write him send him a letter
Basically,
and
it's an
keep it on file.
information, yeah, a letter of information for us.
Yeah, just keep it on file.
So say, we could just say
Yeah.
that,
He has authorization to run a 2-rail
Yeah.
fence with wire down the left side of his property
Yeah.
line to the water.
All right, so this is a discussion, so we can't really motion and vote this.
No, we're just talking about it. You don't want a motion on this.
No,
but Alan's thinking because we were
Typically,
thinking
they
because of the
include a
variance.
materials
I'm
list
thinking
for the
motion
fence
on
itself.
I'm thinking
Typically,
down the
they include
road,
a
say.
materials list
I'm
for the
thinking.
fence.
No,
the
I know what you're
next-
thinking.
Do they
I
include a
think this still
materials
needs
list
to
for the
be,
fence being used?
as a
It's gonna
motion,
be a
Yes.
2-rail
at a future
fence.
meeting,
I
like
agree.
in 2 weeks or whatever,
I
the next
agree.
meeting,
You should have
and then
notice
we
of
take a
intent,
vote,
NOI.
and formalize.
and then we allow
Be nice
Brooke
here.
to write him a letter and say, go ahead.
Now, can we put in
You work
orders
with
of
them
conditions
on
if it's not an
feasible
NOI? How are you
Notice of intent.
proposing to dig the post holes?
He's within.
With a post hole
He's
digger, by hand.
By hand, okay.
By law.
So no equipment's going back down there,
No
okay.
equipment at
He's
all.
like this.
All right.
Two-handed post hole digger,
God bless you.
Good for
dig
you.
that,
Doesn't
move it out of the way,
this
put the
doesn't
post
open
in,
the
put
door
the
to
same
having
dirt
more-
right back where it was, no
Okay.
concrete,
All right.
no
No
treatment,
bear.
Not
nothing.
me, I got an auger on the back of the
She's gonna write
Kubota.
him a
Struck
letter.
it.
Those things are great. You can lose a forearm sometimes, but those things are great.
Yeah,
So-
so I know, I have 'em.
So
Well, if
we
you're just gonna be specific about it, though, you're gonna send a letter stating he has he can run a 2-rail fence, no,
But we still have got to make the motion and vote on it, so it's got to come back at the next meeting to formalize it, to authorize her to write the
I
letter.
understand that, I'm just
Put it on the
making it
agenda
clear.
as something to
that-
vote for, you mean?
That's right, it's got to go on the agenda as
Right,
a,
right,
Now, would we be okay in authorizing him to go ahead with the work?
I don't have a problem.
I personally would not have a problem with that.
No, I don't either. We'll
I
just
don't,
make-
I don't have a timeline, I'm not in a hurry on this, I just wanted your blessing and,
Could you
or
come back in
guidance
a
on
couple
what I
of
needed
weeks
to
and we
do.
would formalize, could you come back to the next conservation meeting and have it not be a discussion, have it come back out as a motion that we could then approve, and then you walk away, you're all good to go, she writes you a letter, and everybody's happy?
That's perfectly fine, I'm not at the firehouse that day.
Okay, we
Yeah.
don't need
I
any
just think
fees
that
or
that
anything.
covers everybody.
Right. So what would, we-
And we don't like to, and Savory's gonna agree with me on this, we don't wanna set the precedent. Because then we're gonna have people coming in under discussion, can I build this new shed right beside the wetlands? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't wanna get into that.
Yeah, I didn't, like I said, coming before, whenever other people were asking questions, like, I didn't know a lot about wetlands, I just wanted to come ask permission. If you guys tell me no, I don't do it, you know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure I did
Exact way to do it.
I just wanted to make sure I talked to you
Exactly the way.
first, you told me what I can or what I can't do, how to go about it, or whatever, that's why I'm here today. If you need
Okay.
me to come back in 2 weeks, a month, whatever, I'll be here.
All right, I think from the standpoint of writing a letter that there should be specifics on it. For instance, how far away from, you already have a fence from Plymouth Street back?
No,
150?
from my house. It
Oh,
comes from the
okay.
corner of my house, and it just makes a box in my backyard.
Okay, I'm
I
looking.
can roll from that edge before then and get you the exact footage number
I
if
don't
you
think
need to
that's,
know
I
that.
don't think you have to jump through that hoop,
You wouldn't want to have in this letter how long a fence it could be?
Probably would be good, too.
probably be, yeah,
I
probably
think,
could.
I think it should be, just,
Tell-
again, it's
Tell
so
us how
that,
long you want the fence.
so that there's no, down the road, no one comes back and said, well, you never told us it was going to be that
yeah,
long.
you know what, he's right, if you can roll it, just give us a number,
I have a roller at home, I'll roll it.
Yeah.
because
Okay.
obviously you're not gonna go swimming to do it, so.
Right, I
you're
just
gonna
think
stop
that
sooner or
It's
later.
gonna be before the edge of my
All right.
property.
the more information that's in this letter, the more you're protected
Right.
down the road.
And the more that it makes it
Yeah.
easy for us to not have to set a precedent. So,
I understand that, thank you.
Yeah, and a good description of the fence itself.
Yep.
Right.
Right, the length and,
actually, I'm gonna ask that you also explicitly explain the mesh, just so that we have that.
Yep.
We don't need a sample.
Well, you could cut off a corner.
Yeah, cut off a corner for you.
Yeah, we need about 100 feet, 3 foot high.
You want me to take the post in your yard too?
I'll take it home, don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, good, here.
yeah, so you could write, you
Yeah,
write up like
I
a little
think that's
description,
good.
then I can put that in the letter.
Yes.
Right, and then.
Yeah, there we go.
could-
All right, so we're good.
So what would we put it on, like on here though? What do you put it on the agenda as? So that so it can become a
Thank you.
motion. In other words, it's not a discussion.
Well, it's not really
Put
a
it down
hearing.
as
Business?
It would go
fence
under-
for the
It
specific
would go under,
date.
it could go under business, sure, why not?
Yeah,
Right.
Vote on fence at
Yeah.
9061
Yes.
Well, you
Plymouth,
gotta,
91.
you're gonna have a vote on February 13th bylaw changes under business, so it'd be a vote on,
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
good idea.
you know, it's under business, it's
On
not, it's
13th?
not a.
No. He's,
It's
no,
going from
New hearing.
discussion to
What day?
business, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Don't have a
right,
date
that's
yet.
right.
oh,
no, he's just talking about.
All right,
oh, okay.
got that straightened out.
So good.
Okay.
So when's the next conservation meeting gonna be?
May 1st,
Oh, boy.
you might not be here, right?
I will
You're
not be here.
I already know that.
You won't be here either?
I won't be here either.
Oh, geez.
Well, there's the Savory
gonna
will be
be
the
here.
chair. We
I
got-
won't be here for the next one either, if it's, Just 2 weeks.
So far, we only got one on May 1st.
okay,
What
The
is it?
Spring Street project.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
Can we just skip it and move it to the 15th? Do we
No,
have to?
I've already
Is it,
advertised.
are there
the
any NOIs that have
Yeah,
been filed?
it's already been advertised,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Spring Street.
So hopefully we have a quorum on the first?
Well, we would,
I'm here.
and I'm here.
And
I'll be here.
Dan will be here, so
Okay.
that's
You're
three.
sworn in, right, Dan?
Yeah, you're sworn in, right?
It'd be 1
Yeah,
o'clock.
but geez.
Spain,
hope so.
when time you're meeting.
When?
It'd be 1 AM in Spain when you're meeting here.
1 AM?
It's going to Spain.
I won't be here at 1 AM.
No,
Sorry.
in
No, you'll be
Spain.
here
Where are you
at
going?
7.
No, right. We'll FaceTime.
So, me and
You need to be up here.
Deb's finding somebody. Oh, we could get Peg to fill in.
Yeah, we can get,
If
We
you-
have an associate,
yeah,
don't we?
I don't know, I say,
I don't think
told
so.
So far, she hasn't shown
I
much,
wouldn't hold my
but
breath
anyway.
on that one. We can get, we can see if we can get Carrie or
Deb's gonna try to get Susan or,
or Shelby
So-
or
Yeah.
Deb.
I'm heading down to the Outer Banks. Next week I'll be gone
Oh,
for a
it's
couple
okay.
weeks.
Yeah.
All right,
So link description,
My youngest kid.
yeah, just
he
like
lives-
have
the,
that to you before May 1st.
Yeah,
Just bring it by the office.
the dimension of the opening in the mesh.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
height of the mesh, the height of the fence and the mesh.
yeah, and then once I have that, then I can just write up the letter and we'll vote
By the way, can you bring
on,
all your
or
tools?
we can vote on it with, even without the letter and then.
Perfect.
Will we be able to keep those
We
maps
have a couple
when you
stone
make
doors
the
that have to
application,
be
you know, come,
installed. We have
can we keep the maps?
You got them from us, right?
Yeah.
I got them photocopied
Yeah,
downstairs. I'll get you new ones.
Because I want them to be
Yeah.
in reference with our
Yeah.
decision.
Perfect.
Brooks,
there for a
Brooks gonna
week.
make some up for us.
Yeah, so
And
I'll make
she's the
some
one that
copies of the,
provided-
That's pretty much how
All
I
right,
get
great.
quality time with my
So
friends.
she has.
comes from the, other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You think that son of a carpenter would know?
Yeah, next order of discussions is the Eagle Scout camp out on the Cole property.
Oh, I just thought I'd tell you.
Good, well,
They're gonna be camping out from April 26th to April 28th.
Okay.
okay.
So I
And
ordered
it's
the pot of
Same
John's.
spot down at the base of that sand pit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
work.
it's a different Eagle Scout group, but it's like, I think, is it still gonna be, I know Kyle's not involved too much anymore. Do you know
No,
the
no,
boss?
but Troop 48 itself
Yeah.
will be camping out.
Yeah.
And actually, some elements from the Cub Scouts have been invited to camp out with them as well.
Oh, nice.
Someone's
Okay.
got to cook.
But I'll be,
Yeah,
and one of them will be me.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
eat the Cub Scouts.
I'll be one of the cooks.
So the
Yeah.
porta potties will be there anyway.
Oh, really?
I ordered them.
Oh, good, so we got the conservation cop on site, so that's good.
All right.
See,
We're good with that.
I would encourage maybe even saving some money on the porta potties and encourage the 5-gallon bucket brigade.
I got extra compound
Pine
buckets.
tree, but that's me.
I got some compound.
We carry in, we carry out.
I know I did too. I just
buckets.
figured, you know,
I used to dig
that way they,
Okay.
we don't need the
Well, good luck.
details.
Okay,
Hopefully it'll be nice weather.
so it's
All
on
right.
to our business,
Yep.
which is the Pond Beach cleanup, discuss allowed procedures.
Yes. I just had a question on that,
Yes.
because I had a call from, what was the number, 22 South Main. The Cole property, the Pierre Cole's property.
Pierre Coles, okay?
And somebody called and said that he had equipment out there on the beach. So I talked to him, and I went out there, and he said he does that every year. He brings equipment out, and all he does is he smooths out the sand that's there. He doesn't bring new sand in or anything like that. But I said, the problem is, you know, when you bring equipment in, that's when you get phone calls and stuff. So I just wanted to talk to you about that. I mean, if somebody does that and they need to bring a, you know, small piece of equipment in just to smooth out the sand and stuff, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
As long as they're not bringing anything new in. I mean, obviously, we'd rather have them do it by hand.
As long as he doesn't bring the equipment into the water.
Right.
Right.
That's another thing.
So it's kind
Yeah,
of
but
one
if
of
he's
those,
backing down there and just, you know, with a farm tractor and putting a York rake on it,
that's
rake-
pretty
As long
much
as it
what he's
doesn't
pretty
bring
much
some-
what
I
he's
mean-
doing. I'd imagine that's what he's
I don't
doing.
know, man.
But then, you know, then you get the problem with the I know, I mean, he could just do it by hand. That's what I'm just
Depends on
trying to
how
get
big
an
the
idea.
area is.
But you've got other people who have lawns that go down to the water's edge, and they're there with tractors and
Right.
mowers
That's
and,
true.
and fertilizers and,
Yeah.
I
mean, I believe it's unenforceable,
It is kind of.
really.
I
Where do
know.
you draw the line?
I
And
know.
how big a John Deere
Right,
is too big?
Right.
You know, and
Other
you
than
say
the
do
fact
it-
if they stop bringing new sand in, you know,
So,
Yes.
then obviously you would. be.
Right, and that's a big beach.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
say do it by hand.
I-
Tim
yeah.
couldn't
beach
do
is
it by
this?
hand. I can't do
Right,
it by
right.
hand,
Sorry, which beach is this?
you know?
This is
I
on
know.
I
Samson's
need a
Pond.
machine, that's why I have a machine.
Next to John
To
Deli's.
the west of John Deli Priscoli's house, the big yellow house with
You're
the
going to need to find a
granite
different
wall.
phone number to
Yeah.
call.
It's that beach to the left of it.
I do, but
It's
you know,
big.
I
Used to be
never do
it's a
anything
huge
about it.
beach.
Covered in
Used to be
neighborhood.
Shaw's Beach,
It's a neighborhood.
back in the
But-
50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Huge. That was the beach on the pond.
But the family that owns this house is pretty environmentally conscientious. so
Yeah,
wouldn't-
I think that I don't think we have to stress
All right.
over
Who,
this.
the Coles?
Yeah.
Except for the pool. But that's a whole other story.
We're not even going there.
It's Claudia, I guess.
Yeah, so if it's basically just for maintenance of a beach that's already there, it's obviously not gonna, like you say,
Yeah,
you
I
can't
mean-
really, I know.
People are gonna bring a John Deere down to their beach with a tine attachment to pull the weeds.
Yeah,
up.
I gotta
Yeah.
try that. They'll throw me in jail.
You got such a steep
I
bank
could see, I
there.
could see the newspaper seeing me do that now. Yeah, Conservation Commissioner, yeah, okay, no.
I cleaned my beach the other day by hand.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after Monday's storm, it was like I hadn't ever touched it.
Right.
Everything from the pond
I
is back
know,
on my
I
beach.
know, it's hard to,
I lost a huge pine tree in that rain
Yeah.
Monday morning, 5 o'clock in the morning.
you did?
Oh,
And
man.
it's in the wet, so I gotta get in there and drag it out of there, so I'm gonna make a mess.
Wait till August.
Yeah, come on, what's wrong with you?
It'll be dry.
It's
All
wildlife
right,
habitat.
let's continue.
Okay.
Same thing, it broke 12 feet up off the ground, and it's this big around.
I want to get to the good one.
Okay, we have one unanticipated thing
Okay.
that came up in between, so I figured we could let them, so they can go before we do
Okay,
the bylaw
sure.
stuff.
You're
This is,
unanticipated?
Yep,
You seem a little familiar from somewhere.
yes, they were before us for 128 Meadow.
Okay.
Yes.
I think they already did that. Didn't they do that? Yeah.
Well, he just got,
did that last week.
there's a slight
Oh, they did that
change to
last
the
week?
plan.
The Audubon
So
thing?
they just
We
wanted to
did
come
the
in
Audubon thing on the
and talk to us about the
last
change,
week.
Yes.
and then figure out what we have to do. They've got an order of conditions now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, it was,
I don't know.
One way.
it was March 28th.
And now there's gonna be a slight change to it, so I
We're
just,
gonna say no, don't worry.
We did it.
I,
See, right here, Audubon site
Yes.
visit.
no, it's not.
property.
Just put unanticipated.
Well, these are the, these
Oh,
are
no,
the-
I was there for that.
Okay.
I just mean, was there any discussion?
Well, this is on Meadow.
I don't think so.
Discover, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I found some red flags we should probably talk about at some point.
Oh, okay, we can do
They
that.
just, they,
So one says revised, one
I need 5 copies, full size.
Thank you.
I can't tell you you can do it or you can't do it.
Oh, right,
So
right,
I just
right.
wanted them, I wasn't even sure what the change was gonna be. So,
What intersections
Moving
is
the
there? What are
septic
these
system.
side streets coming into Meadow here?
It's Meadow,
In Pope's
Pope's
Point.
Point.
Pope's Point, and
Yeah.
then the
And
sec,
then the other one's Meadow. So
Okay.
it's on the corner, all Meadow, and
Uh-huh.
then Pope's Point's on the left.
You
Yeah.
moved the house a little bit.
What we're gonna do is we're mirroring it, so the garage was
Right.
originally on the right, and we're hoping we can put the garages on the left for driveway purposes. The driveway before was kind of encroaching on one of the buffers.
On the
But if we
65.
move it to the left, then it doesn't.
Yeah, we have a lot more room to play with the revised plan. I'm Brad, and this is Tiffany Owen.
so I wanted then, to come in, to talk to us, because they've already got, the order of conditions for the plan one way. And I wanted to see if if you think this would require an amended order of conditions?
Absolutely.
Or, if it was if you thought it was a minor revision, I wasn't really sure exactly, what to do. That's why I wanted you to talk,
But it's a
talk about it
revision, and
before.
there's already an order of conditions.
Right.
So
It looks like,
you'd need to file a revision, and it would have to be a public
It
meeting.
would be an
again.
amended order.
It'd be an amended order, you'd have to still have
house
a
was
public
mirrored.
hearing on it. It can't
Looked
come in
around.
no, I
unanticipated.
understand that.
It did
Right,
take shift.
And
right.
you can't vote on
right.
it in unanticipated.
But we can just tell them what it is we
If you
need
look
to
and
have
see how
need to have them
close
do,
that
that's
is
all.
to
That's all
the
this-
corner of
that
the
was all
house.
this was for.
Now, they slid this over here, but now that's.
flipped
I
it
do,
around.
see how the house is?
Yeah, it's just a
Over
mirror
here,
image.
it's
That over
crooked.
here in the septic system,
And
here
down
they're
here,
showing it,
they squared it off and
Different
flipped
angle.
it.
Yep, I know, they,
it's all.
The
I had
garage
coffee
is-
with your dad the other day, and he was
Yeah.
kinda chuckling, he says, they're getting an education on building a house.
The garage is
Definitely.
still on the
And
right.
he's just kinda sitting back saying, yep.
See what they did?
Yes.
But the issue is, if you look real
So
close,
that's original.
you see.
But so
this
the garage
from
is
here
still
to
on the
here.
right, though.
If you look
No, it's
over
on the
here
left.
with
No,
this-
it's
Yeah,
on
it's
the-
just
on
a
the left.
mirror
Would
image
be
of
the
it, so
septic
the
system,
garage
so
is now
there's
on the left.
Going on there.
Oh,
Same
okay.
footprint, same everything, it's just
Right.
flip-flopped.
Right, they just flip-flopped it.
Okay,
See, the garage comes in over here. now.
yep, okay, yep, yep,
So-
yep.
Doesn't,
And the driveway's
see there
nowhere
is-
near the wetlands now, it's
No.
out of the buffer.
Right, right, right.
Is-
Okay, so it is,
but-
so it is a little
And
bit.
there's roughly still the same amount of house that's within from the original order.
Yeah, it's the same square footage and everything. Nothing changed on the square footage of the house.
Right.
We literally just took it and the architect switched it, so the driveway would be on the left side instead.
all right, what's missing, go ahead, sorry, Jim.
no, go ahead.
What's missing from both drawings is the 100-foot line.
Right, the 100-foot from the edge of the wetland, which is.
Right, which is a protected zone. It's not a no-touch zone, but it's a protected zone.
Right.
And in your original, your house, the structure itself was close to being, I would guess, around the 100-foot line. It wasn't near touching the 65. In the current iteration, the corner of your garage
It's
and the
way
corner of whatever is going out the back of your house, both of those corners are right on the 65, which means they are encroaching in the 100-foot. So when we relook at this, I would like to have drawings that include the 100-foot, so we can see how much of your house does encroach into the 100-foot protected zone, even though none of it touches the 65-foot no-touch zone.
Okay.
How the heck? Yeah, I want to see that too. I'm looking at this.
Well, the problem they had in the beginning was there was no place they could put the house and get it out of the 100.
Right.
So we gave them the variance because we allowed them to go in the 100. But
Right.
I do understand what Savory's saying, because now by flipping the house and moving the driveway, more of the house is in the 100.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't have an issue with
But
that.
I
The
don't-
driveway's less, there's less driveway
But
impact on the 60.
right, but it looks to me like even in the original plan, I mean, this is such a small drawing. but
Yeah.
I don't, see that corner over here, Savory? In the
Yeah.
original drawing,
Yeah.
it looks like maybe that's within, 10, 15 feet of the 65.
Right.
And now, depending
right
upon
there.
how this drawing, how accurate this is on this scale, it could be on the 65.
Right, right.
That's correct, and that's what I'm looking at. And there's also a second corner
Up the other side.
that it also looks like it's
Yeah.
probably touching the 65.
Yeah, they got to give us.
I don't
a
want to
blow.
have to redraw the whole plans, but we're going to need something a little bit more detailed and a little bit bigger,
Okay.
so we can really see what's going on. We'd love
Right.
nothing better than to give you the
When-
way to
when
go
we-
with this.
Yeah.
When we first looked at this, the issue that I had with it was that the driveway at the time was going within the 65 feet.
Right.
And we had talked about moving, if you could slide the house
Right.
north a
Yeah.
little bit. But then we realized that your property line doesn't match the street at all. So
That's
your
right.
your setbacks are really, really weird. They're
Yeah,
not
well-
off the street, they're off your
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, we're really trying to shoehorn it in there.
I know, I get that.
Yeah.
But I think from the standpoint of us making sure that we have everything we need for our files, for history and archives, that the drawings that you come back with have the 100-foot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since
Okay.
more of the house seems to be going into that area now.
Yeah, we just asked, this was such a short notice, we
Yeah.
asked Joe Webby to do it quickly, and he
Yep.
sent it,
Yeah.
and we were like, all right,
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
That's fine, and for
Yeah.
him to add another line, another dotted line in there is
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah,
So, and frankly, I'm happy because now the driveway's not in the 65 feet.
Right.
Well, and that's, yeah, so,
Yeah.
and this was, because that night we discussed it with Joe about, changing the well's already there, so now I
Right.
dig a new
Right.
well out back, and nobody wanted to make you jump through those kinds of hoops.
And we appreciate that.
But,
It's not there.
and then there was the confusion, because this line wasn't as defined, your lot line, everybody was taking the setback from the street.
Yeah.
So when we got right down to it, it looked like there wasn't anything we could do with this that would get you out of
Within
not
it, yeah.
requiring a variance. So,
Yeah, you got to come back.
but I would like to see a little bit bigger drawing, maybe they can come back on the, I prefer to have them come back when we have a full board.
Yeah.
And they so we should do this as an amendment to the original
Yeah.
order, obviously, because it's.
When did you plan on building?
As soon as possible. We were hoping we could go to the building department tomorrow.
we just got the final plans from the architect, we just met him downstairs,
Yeah.
so.
The first, there's only 3 of us.
Well, you got a quorum.
We have a quorum, but
I'll-
are you two okay with the 3
Yeah,
of us
I don't
making
have a
that
problem with
decision?
that. I don't have a problem with it.
I guess so.
I got Savory, you'll be here. You'll be here.
Brooke will be here.
Well, the problem
But I want to
is,
caution you, and I have to tell them this, Savory, is you were against this. You voted no.
I did.
So if we're down to 3 people on this board, and Savory as the vice chair will be the chairman, and he votes no, then this doesn't work.
Well, you can still
Wait a
be
minute
2 to,
now.
if it
2 to
goes
1.
2 to 1, you can still go past.
It's a quorum,
Still
it's
go.
2 to 1.
Yeah.
It
No,
doesn't
no,
have to be
still go.
unanimous as long as there's a
No,
quorum.
don't worry.
So for amended, I have to think about
He's
this.
the
Does
new
an
guy.
amended order of
Getting it
conditions
done,
have to
but
be
if it-
re-advertised?
They're basically spinning.
I don't believe it has
Are
to
they
be.
I'm trying to think of what we did
You're
for,
not gonna
What they
notify
did
the
was.
butters.
for Pond View. No, we
Yeah.
didn't.
See,
Okay,
this
I was
is
thinking what we did for
change.
Pond View. Okay, so,
That's,
so
they're
we,
just
but we
flipping
just
the
need to
house
get a
over.
request for an amended order
Taking
from,
it like that and flipping it like that, so
Just
the garage
as
is
a
on
letter,
this side,
yeah.
and that room is on
Okay.
this side.
Yeah.
You see the little room, they're just taking it and
yeah,
flipping
you're
it.
right.
Would you wanna do it on the
So that
first?
the
I assume
driveway's a
next
lot
one is the
shorter.
15th, right?
So this isn't built yet.
But you have, do you have anything for
So
the
we'd
15th?
have to get a big plans from Joe with the 100-foot on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out where.
And these guys wanna get started, cause they
So
like
the
to build
equipment
before the
is-
snow flies.
Yes.
So
Ever seen
we'll
it?
It
put
would
it
either be
on,
the
yeah.
first or
I
the
used to do
15th,
that.
you guys tell us. The first, you have 3 of us, the 15th, I believe we'd have a full board, so it's up to you. Oh, you be back
Till
in
the
time?
16th. If it's, as far as
I might be
my
back on
boss
the
is
first
informed
one, I
on the
don't think
16th.
so.
You'll have 4. 4 out of 5 ain't
Yeah.
bad.
On the first or the 15th?
15th.
I mean, so
15th?
far we don't have anything on the 15th. They may be the only ones on the
Well,
15th,
we're
but,
gonna be here anyway.
but-
Cause you know you love to sit with us.
yeah.
Why don't we do it on the 1st?
Let them go with the first.
Fine with it. It can,
Yeah.
Joe have everything we need for the first?
Can we get back to you on that one? I have to
No,
clarify with that.
Get a hold
He'll
of,
have it done.
get a
Yeah,
hold of-
Joe's really
It
good.
shouldn't be,
so-
It's
I mean, it's
only-
not a
it's 2
lot
weeks
for him to
away.
do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's already,
just,
he already did the major revisions.
Yeah, he
Right.
just has to put the
100
100-foot
foot.
line and
Right.
get us a bigger print.
And
Yeah.
get us the big ones, yep. And then he could just, what he could do is just write us, have him write us a letter just requesting an amended order of conditions.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
and then just say that for the, driveway being on the other side.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That will
Tell
have a
Joe, he
formal-
doesn't have to do 5 sets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
No.
Are there any other
think 2
issues that
sets
you
would be
Right.
plenty.
could think?
What was that?
Would be plenty. One will stay in the file.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just bring up one thing. The corners that I'm talking about are so close to the 65 feet. Is there going to have to be construction within the 65 feet, and do they need a variance?
Well, they can apply for a variance when they're here for doing that.
Joe may even come on that here. I would probably recommend you. see
Bringing
if
Joe on
Bring
that
Joe.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Yeah,
might be
'cause
able to
seriously,
twist it a little bit or
yeah.
something too, so that
Yeah,
we
same
can
thing about
You
that
know, because you're going to need room around it to get
Right.
equipment and
Right.
construction
Yeah,
workers.
no, understandable.
So,
Well, that's the same thing I tried to argue when we were across the property across from Shaw's, that they went right to the border,
157, yeah.
and you had to work around it. Nobody wanted to hear that.
Yeah, but they would have to work.
I said it nicely.
And then they would get back out of it.
It'd be a temporary disturbance.
Right. It was
Basically,
gonna
during
be a
construction.
temporary disturbance.
right, but again, you know,
It's
that,
still a
I think
disturbance.
we'll
Right.
ask questions that you guys may not be able
Maybe a
to
little over
answer,
our
so
heads,
It
yeah.
might be good for Joe to.
right.
If he can, I hate to see him charge you for it. but
And
I-
also, just, you know,
Yeah.
so you know that,
Still makes enough money, he can come.
once your house is built, and if it is in fact touching that 65-foot, then that reverts back to a no-touch zone, which is,
Right.
which is, you know, no lawn, no,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's in the order that we already
Okay.
issued, so we'd, yeah,
right, but it's also close to a
Right.
yeah.
house. Okay,
Almost.
Less
I'd say a young couple
Yeah.
with a head.
Okay.
You can have a lawn.
I'm good
Okay.
with that.
No lawn back
We're
there.
not gonna have much lawn, no.
I think you can have a lawn.
We'll have a front yard and a
kinda
side
Yeah,
yard.
front yard.
understory.
No.
I'm good.
His father-in-law's
This
gonna
is
throw him
from-
in the cranberry
cannot
bog, make him
cut
pick
understory.
berries. Time to mow grass.
I'll have to repay him digging that hole for us one way or another, trust me.
And cut it, yes, okay.
I'm good with this.
I'm good with the first.
Might want a lawn in it.
Let him put the papers where, have Joe come in.
Do that with other plants
Well, you're
too.
not gonna be here on the
No,
first.
no, I'm not gonna be here.
All right,
Unless my son decides that I don't have to do all the work on his house that he has.
Okay, so that
Good, so we'll
is,
see you on the first.
Okay,
okay.
thank you very much.
What
all
time?
right,
7,
7 o'clock?
7:15 for them,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
yeah,
Yeah.
7:15, I guess.
Well, you have something already, Spring Street, right?
Oh, yes, we do, so I'm sorry, yes, so it would be, I'm sorry, Spring Street would be 7:15, so these guys could come
7:30?
before.
Oh, before,
Well,
No, put them after.
Put 'em-
better.
put 'em
Maybe
7:30.
after, because it's a.
7:30.
usually we have cocktails at 7, then the popcorn comes out, so it could be like 7:30.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do after Spring Street, yeah.
Should have grabbed my shirt.
So request for, yep.
Thank you so much.
Sure,
very
thank
much.
you.
Let's see, so request. amended. This is, that's the original one. And then this is the revised one.
All right, now let's keep going.
The revised one switched,
It's kind of already an empty lot.
switched, yes, yes, totally clear. Yeah, yeah. And they just
Did
basically
we
switched the
cover the Pond
driveway
Beach
to the
cleanup
other
thing?
side. It
Yes, we
was
did.
better For us.
So we're, now we're talking about the bylaw changes.
We are.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
so,
Well, because we never
Little
really
savory.
made a formal vote, we had that meeting on February 13th where we discussed all the changes and stuff
Right.
like that, but we never really had a formal vote.
Because there were changes that we wanted to make to it
Right.
at the time, so it
Right,
was
so
fine.
now that Savory's worked so hard to get everything all done, and, you know, town councils looked at it and everything like that, I think they just want that for town meeting, just to know that the commission's voted,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
formally,
It's a
that you guys all are.
The
Right.
selectmen approved it last night, say we did a great
Right.
job.
Yep. I presented it to the Board of Selectmen 2 weeks ago yesterday, and they had some questions. It was mostly Sarah who had questions.
oh, yeah, of course.
And we went, Greg Corbo from K&P
Yeah.
Law, the town council, got involved, and he and I went back and forth in very, very, lawyer language is a whole different thing.
Yeah, it is, I know.
But he and I spoke, and he got the gist of what it was we were trying to do.
Right.
He came up with some very good language,
Yeah.
I felt.
Yeah.
And moved things around to where
Yeah.
he thought they should be, and.
And it got confusing as to what you were gonna present, you know, like they were trying to, condense it, but then they
Right.
really couldn't do that without actually, practically having the whole bylaw, right? Because
Right.
remember they went over and over that, yeah.
Right,
so
and they
it's-
didn't want 12 pages of the bylaw in the actual warrant, so they put it as an appendix. And what you see here, on page 1, where it says Article 26 Wetland Bylaw Changes, that's what's going to appear in the actual warrant. And to see if the town will vote to amend Section 9.2, as shown in Appendix N. The informational summary was a compilation of things that I had said in conjunction with what Greg Corbo from K&P had said, based on our desire to keep language in the bylaw changes to have people who were agricultural let us know beforehand
Right.
what they were going to do. That was one of the sticking points
Yeah.
that Board of Selectmen had. They wanted to make sure that it was clear that nothing was changing in
Right.
that, other than the fact that we
Right.
wanted them to come before us. So,
They just wanted to make sure that they didn't have to come to us and file for everything, but they just need to notify us when they were.
right, and they put that in, Greg put that in the informational summary as pretty clear. Maintain current exemptions for 61A zoned parcels of land, add the requirement that property owners of agriculturally zoned properties notify the conservation agent by phone, email, or in person before any work is started within a restricted area. This knowledge will allow the agent to address any concerns residents have and will eliminate the need for site visits. The current agricultural exemptions allowed under the Town of Carver bylaws do not change. So that was put in there in the informational summary. The rest of the things, I think we went over for the most part. I'll point out changes from what we saw on the 13th of February. If you go to this page 2, under Statement of Jurisdiction, under number 3, what Mr. Corbo recommended is that we use the same language that was there, that said no person shall remove, well, first of all, it now says hardship variance, as opposed to a variance. And it changes a permit to an order of conditions. No person shall remove, fill, dredge, alter, build, disturb, and that's what was there already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the general language, as you can see, that is up above for the 100-foot. And then we put in, or make any changes to the natural characteristics of the landscape by human activity. So that really makes it a no-touch zone.
Right.
As opposed to impervious or buildings,
Right.
Okay.
all right? The next one is, they just changed the language a little bit about the residents and bogs of the same parcel of land under singular ownership. So that really didn't change that much. What I had done in this section, statement of jurisdiction, was to put the agricultural part of the bylaw. He moved that on to the next section for exceptions, and that is number 5 under exceptions. And it says, this bylaw shall not apply to the normal maintenance or improvement of land and agricultural use as set forth in MGL C-130, 40, and 3/10 CMR 10, provided that the commission shall be notified prior to the commencement of work or as soon as possible after the commencement of work if such notice cannot be practically given. So,
Is that the one that Sarah voted no? Was that?
no, Sarah voted no on,
One of the site plan requirements or something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
yes. So, I mean, after that, it was just the fee structure, the change of notice of intent with the rules regarding the newspaper. We talked about that back in February. Nothing changed there, all the way till, under plans, page 8, 9.2.3.3. Actually, page 9, number 14 is new, and setback lines shall be indicated based on the checklist below. It was here that Sarah
Right,
wanted
she
the
wanted that.
inclusion of the Cornell
Oh, yeah.
thing, and
What you want?
inclusion of the Cornell, what is it, Cornell?
Call it, yeah,
Atlas of
Precipitation.
precipitation.
That's right.
precipitation or something, yeah.
Because it's in some other document within the town, but it's not in our
It's in,
document?
it's in planning, did she
Might be
say?
in planning under stormwater requirements
Right,
or something.
She
yeah.
wanted a copy of it put in here?
Well, she said that it had been in the town, in the wetlands bylaws as late as 2013, but all the bylaws that are on the town website don't go back any further than 2014. So it's not there. I looked.
Yeah.
So if it
So
hasn't
what are
been
we
there for
gonna
6
do?
years,
So we'll pass this and we'll live to fight another day on
Right.
next year's town meeting.
so that, the selectmen passed it 4-1. So,
Oh, okay.
and Sarah was fine with everything except
She
that.
was fine with everything else. I knew there was something,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
one thing she didn't like.
Right. If you go to page 12, we have the changes that we made to the definition of altar to include walls, permanent structures, et cetera.
Or structures, shrubs, flowers, grasses, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
anything in bold.
All right.
On page 13, the hardship variance language has changed. It basically says that no reasonable conditions or alternatives exist which would allow the project to proceed in compliance with the bylaw. A literal enforcement of the provisions of this bylaw involves substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the applicant, insofar as the property cannot be put to any beneficial use without the granting of a variance, or that the work is necessary to prevent a threat of harm to persons or property. So that's our, hey, this tree's leaning towards my house.
Right, right.
So
Becomes like a safety hazard.
it does.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's too late to change it
You
this year.
can't do anything, the final's already out.
I know, but
Oh, what were you thinking?
I don't like the fact that it says property. I think it should say dwelling,
Oh, threat to okay. I thought it
because
was
property
shared.
could be a boat
Yeah, or shed, or.
in the water, so I want to cut down all the trees by the pond because it might fall on my boat.
Oh,
So, but that'll be another day,
to persons or property.
all right? So, I also think that if, next year, if we want to change in this, that in the cases, I mean, people are going to have to file a notice of intent for a hardship variance if they want to take trees that are a danger to their house down. And we've always allowed that before, so I think that, as a hardship variance, we probably, as a committee, would waive any fee
Yeah.
for danger,
Yeah.
Right.
Still
If
have them do the
If it's a
NOI.
safety hazard, right.
but not have them make a
Or
fee.
you could do, I suppose you
Well,
could
we
do an
haven't
RDA,
decided
so then you
what
wouldn't
to
have to
do.
do all the filing fees. You could do an RDA and
Okay.
request to cut
Well-
this tree, this tree, this tree, and then you could do a determination with maybe a couple conditions, or?
Okay,
I don't think we have the authority to waive the fee.
why not?
We couldn't waive we could waive the bylaw fee, but not the state fee. If they do notice of intent,
Oh,
we
okay.
can't waive the state fee, because half of it goes to
We
state.
can't waive the bylaw fee either. We can't modify the bylaws. It's in the bylaws, there's a fee. We can't say, oh, you don't have to pay
Well-
it today.
We can, Alan, if we so
I
choose.
think we waived the bylaw fee.
I agree with Al on that one.
We
I
have.
don't think we can.
Well, last night at the Board of Selectmen, there's going to be that fishing tournament on Sampson's Pond. They voted to waive the fee because it was nonprofit.
It's the Board of Selectmen, because it's nonprofit. Guy comes to us, wants to cut a tree down on his pond, he's not a nonprofit.
If it's going to hit his house, we would allow that. Prior to this, we would allow it because it wasn't under any
Willing-
bylaw.
We'll inquire, we'll ask
Yeah,
Corporal.
I'd like to see the chair inquire.
I think we.
Then we do it with an RDA.
I can't
Yes.
remember what, I think we have though, Jim.
Yeah.
So-
We
I can't
definitely have.
remember.
All right.
And also in here is included vista pruning.
I saw that. That's
Right.
good.
This,
I like that.
the definition of vista pruning on the bottom of page 13 is right out of Mass General.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure is.
yeah,
But it's in here so people can find it,
yeah.
as opposed to going ahead and doing it. And as you can see, it says, vista pruning does not include the cutting of trees which reduce the shade canopy to less than 90% of the existing crown, and does not include the mowing or removal of understory brush.
Right.
So that goes to what we visited today,
Yeah,
at 62
Oh,
Wenham.
60 Wenham, yes.
That's understory brush that they took away.
right,
So that is not allowed.
right. Right,
Right now, it's not allowed
right,
by state law.
right, right.
So it's in here just so people
Yeah.
can see it.
Yeah, that's a good
looking
idea.
at our-
They're they're in the no-touch already anyhow.
Right. So that's what, that's where it stands, and
I would make a motion that we vote to approve these as they are now published in the final. This is just so we can have the Conservation
Yeah, sure.
Commission votes X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the changes to the wetlands bylaw, which Savory has drawn up. Now, is there any more comments anybody wants to make on them?
Just a quick question. Are there other articles that specifically address wetland issues besides how they pertain to their proximity to structures, but how, in terms of recreation activity?
Yeah, it's in the Mass.
Okay.
310.
not in Carver,
CMR.
not in the Carver bylaws.
Not in Carver, it's a Mass, Mass 310.
These are-
Maybe something to play around with for next year?
Well, I mean, we did some things a little bit in here. If you look at page,
We tweak it every year anyhow.
I mean, clearly, everything that says, no human, changing of habitat and all that, et cetera, within so many feet of property. So obviously, the converse, the inverse of that is that obviously in the wetland, you can't do anything
right.
for example, spiking trees for tree stands,
No,
things like that. In a
Well,
wetland
that
property.
would be human activity, I would
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Some of the things that we did, we added things to the definition of altar, which is on page 12, which, in the fifth bullet, we added the word walls, because there are walls that people want to either build or repair. And under the sixth bullet point, it used to say placing of obstructions or objects
Okay.
in water. We now made it permanent objects because so many people have temporary docks that they pull out in the fall.
Right.
And that really can't be, no one's going to go around and make sure everyone has
Docky
a, the dock police.
They had the dock police. All
And
the ponds in Carver, that'd be fun.
it used to say destruction of plant life, including the cutting of trees, but we added shrubs, flowers, or grasses, which covers much more of an area that you can't, or things that you can't touch. So we're trying with little pieces of language to make it more obvious that people can't touch within the 65 feet. So that was,
All right. let's get on
He has
to
a
the,
submarine now, he's gonna do some more covert stuff on the pond this
Yeah,
year.
Snorkel. It's a shallow pond.
the
he's
mole,
gonna be snorkeling next, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
you're
All
looking
right.
under, from underneath.
Let's, can we,
So, given that we've had our discussion, then, we'll have a vote on the motion to accept the Article 26 wetland bylaw changes as written?
You had a motion and a
No.
second?
There is
Yeah,
a
we had a
motion.
We have a
yeah,
motion and a
so
second.
we'll have a vote now. All those in favor of the changes of to Article 26, the wetland bylaw?
Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass unanimous.
Unanimous, 4-0-0.
It's great, we have
There you
a
go,
full,
buddy.
we have a full board tonight.
nice job,
5-0-0.
Steve. Nice job.
0-0.
Thank you.
I just,
Okay.
It was educational,
you,
dealing
you
with
let,
the,
the town administrator know.
I would
You working
imagine.
tomorrow?
they were great, though. I mean, they really were.
No,
Great
but I
program.
can.
Oh,
But I'll let him know.
okay.
He was,
Just let him know.
I'm working at 6.
He's pretty down to earth.
That,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be talking about Sarah.
Oh,
I was gonna say that issue that she had brought up didn't seem like it was really appropriate for that, but really more of a building and planning.
Yeah, well,
it does.
she's,
Am I right
And
about
and
that?
as Brooke
she's
said,
she's a selectman, but also was chair of this board for
Right.
a number of years.
Who's that?
right, Sarah.
Sarah,
But as Brooke said,
Who I
that
would
there are
vote for.
other,
Yeah.
in the bylaws, there are stormwater
Yeah.
mitigation
No,
plans.
I
that
see it, I see it as being an important thing as well, just not apropos to this.
Right.
Right, right.
So.
Yes.
all right. 64 Wenham Road, I wanna hear
Okay, sorry.
that one.
That's
That's
kinda
our
like
next
saying we
item
should
is
feed the
the,
children too.
COC requested, and there's nobody here for them, right? Did they decide not to come in, or?
Well, the lawyer had made the request, and I had spoken to her before, and I said that we had the issues that we had discussed, that they were supposed to have done some, they weren't supposed to have done any more clearing in that area, and that they were supposed to have done some plantings. So none of that was done, we saw that today, so we'll just have to not issue the COC and have them do the work they were supposed to have done.
They have to,
Right, now,
pr-
did the lawyer say
Write 'em
they
a letter.
proceed with that, or?
they have to,
Kind of did you get feedback from the lawyer?
I know I didn't. Well, I didn't want to call them today because
Okay.
I did until it was officially voted on.
Oh, right.
So
right.
I'll let her know tomorrow.
question.
Yes.
Do you think we should make them come through with us for a new NOI or anything? I mean, you take a look at the extensive amount of work that has to be done there, the erosion, all the plantings that were taken out. There's a ton of stuff that has to be done there. Now,
Wouldn't it be a violation?
it would, if you want to go that far.
Not a violation
Well, it was
yet
a-
because there's no COC.
Do you have the folder with you?
The COC doesn't play, if
I mean,
they
they-
did the work there without permission.
They knew there was a
it's
violation. I mean, I have emails to the engineer.
I just want to see if where the erosion was part of the property that
Oh.
was in the original complaint.
I don't
They
think.
subdivided the
the-
property after that.
Right, that erosion wasn't on the original complaint. The original complaint was only the
I
cutting
know,
of the
but
shrubs.
was the COC for the property that included where the erosion is, or just that parcel where the house is? Because the erosion was not on the parcel where
No,
the
it
house
wasn't.
is.
No.
So if, that could be a separate item,
But it's the same family.
but if it's not on, if the COC was for just the parcel where the house is.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Then there's,
So, but we can write them up for the other
We
part.
can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So it would still, see, this was where the erosion was,
the erosion was right here in this.
Right.
Yeah, the erosion was on the other side of that
this
line.
outside of this property, but the cutting was on this property.
Yes, yeah, that's, I'm not
Right.
talking about the cutting, but I don't think we can say anything about that with the COC, but we can certainly ask that they.
But we can do an enforcement order, or just get a hold of the landowner where the pump is and have him tell him, this is your issue, you got 2 weeks to fix it.
Well, the order of conditions wasn't met, so
Yeah.
therefore they don't get a COC.
that's right.
Right.
Oh, no, they don't get a COC, for sure, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, I'm concerned about the other side where all that massive erosion is.
That's a separate issue, though.
I understand what you're saying, absolutely, I agree with you. However, that being said, we take care of the COC side, but we should also notify them because, let's face it, it's the same family.
Wouldn't it be two separate items on the same letter?
It is, because it will be a separate family after the
I
sale.
put it on a separate letter.
Yeah,
I put it on a separate letter.
Yeah.
right.
During our site visit to this property, we happened to notice the adjoining property had erosion issues going into the pond.
Real
Right.
bad, real bad erosion.
Right.
What we really, now the thing is, we have to write a letter that Brooke will send to the lawyer saying that we cannot issue a COC due to the fact that the conditions which generated our complaint with them were never satisfied.
I agree,
They never
Absolutely.
replanted.
Yeah.
absolutely. If you saw that, Al, you'd agree with that.
So then in the same letter, put that, the erosion thing.
No,
No,
that would
put
be,
a
that's a
separate
separate letter.
Separate letter.
So
And
that
does
would
that
go
go
to
to, that would have to go to the other property owner?
the owner of the.
That would go to the property owner, not the
Yeah.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want these in the form of a motion?
Well, I think the COC has to be, right?
Yes,
COC has to be in
the
there,
COC letter, right, has
Well,
to be.
right, the COC, so I'll make that motion for the COC letter, DEP SE 126-484, as the chairman had
yeah. Did not, yeah,
explained.
the punch list or the punch list for the original certificate of compliance was not met.
Right.
Right. I'll second that.
So it's been moved and seconded to send a letter in response to the lawyer requesting the COC that we cannot issue it due to the conditions not being met.
Yep.
We need to, in that motion, do we need to deny the COC at this time?
Yeah, we
Yep.
deny it, for sure.
Yeah,
So then I'd like to amend that motion then. The motion would be to deny the COC for SE 126-484
Yep.
and to write a letter.
Well, deny it because,
And to write a letter, or because.
after to write a letter to the other one, yeah, okay.
now write a letter saying why we're denying it.
Right.
That's it. That's
Right,
what we're.
right, that's right, write a letter explaining the reason for denial.
All right,
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay, that's
I'll
my
second the
motion.
amended motion.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to send a letter to the lawyer requesting the COC for 64 Wenham Road to the effect that the COC is denied due to the conditions not being met. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's passed unanimous.
I think we'd have to have one abstention,
Yes?
right?
they have what?
We'd have to have Dan abstain.
Not really.
No,
No, it's,
Why?
well, he
This
didn't.
is an ongoing, this isn't closed out yet, and he wasn't here for the beginning of it.
Oh, but it's.
who was? I wasn't here for the
No,
beginning
no,
of that.
nobody was here for the order of conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, it's old.
No, it was,
This-
this
this-
is very old.
Savory,
Before you
just
put that
come on.
away.
Feel free to hit me
So-
over the head, I'm sorry.
So we have to know that the
Get
other-
over here.
The other property is Hardew.
Well, all we have to know,
Yeah, as long as he's been fully informed
it doesn't say.
Let me
of the
look on the,
conditions.
see, I mean, there's a letter here
Everybody's
from,
hyper now in town, so I'm just trying to be careful.
let me just see how she wrote this.
Careful, I'll remember that. Careful, huh?
Gonna be a hot night on Monday.
Next week, Monday is the town meeting?
It's Monday night.
Okay.
Bring your pillow, your blanket, and a flask.
Now, when's the
Maybe a couple flasks.
I'm bringing two.
And sugar.
vote is what, Saturday?
Can't believe
Vote
I'm
is a
gonna
week
miss the
from-
annual
a
meeting.
week from Saturday.
Son of a-
Week from the Saturday,
Where?
yes, next
The election.
Oh.
Monday night is the town meeting, and then the following Saturday is the election.
I might have
So
to
this is-
fill out an absentee ballot now that I think about it.
Early voting,
Yeah,
you can come down and vote.
right, that's right.
Lynn would love to see you.
When's early voting?
Now?
Now?
Yeah, you can go vote early.
Tomorrow morning?
I think so, there's this thing posted on the door coming in.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll go
Pretty
tomorrow.
sure, I'm not,
I wanna go
actually,
before I
wanna take
leave.
that back, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it said early voting or it said absentee ballots, now that you say that.
Oh,
I
okay.
know
I think-
absentees are out, but
Yeah,
yeah, I think early voting
I
is
think
great.
early voting as well.
All right, Brooke, or Alan, if you're going to make a motion on the erosion issue, It
Why don't
is.
you make that motion, and I'll,
All right, I'll make a motion that we notify the owners of the property listed on map 43, lot 4-C, that we noticed erosion issues going into Wenham Pond when we were visiting, when we were performing a site visit on
It's
the,
64 one.
Abutting property.
on the adjoining property.
Yeah, okay.
I'll second that. Unless you'd like to.
Knock yourself out.
Map 43 lot,
Okay, so it's been
4-C.
moved and seconded to send a second letter notifying the owners of this property that we are going to,
43, lot 4-C.
43, lot 4-C,
Yep.
that we have noticed erosion on their property at 64 Wenham Road, and it needs to be taken care of.
Requested immediate repair.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Yeah, okay, pass unanimous.
To Betsy.
yes.
I think that's about it.
Murgatroyd.
We got the minutes.
Now we're
Right,
showing
minutes
our age.
for,
Minute read and answered.
What the hell's that anyway?
Now we're showing our age.
minutes.
Who was that that
It's
said
almost
that?
like hell in a handbasket. What does that mean?
Who was that that used to say, what cartoon was that? Heavens to
Heavens to
Murgatroyd.
Murgatroyd.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
He's
Come
going
on.
Murgatroyd.
It was
Come
a
on,
bear.
Sarah, you know, I know you know it, because I
It was
know
a
it, but
bear.
I can't remember who it is.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. Yeah, it was a
Little
cartoon character.
trivia for us.
There goes the rest of tonight.
Yeah, let's take care of the minutes now.
Yeah.
Okay, for minutes of March 20th.
I could see his face.
Oh,
It was a bear. I could see the
it
face.
was like, not Mickey Mouse, but
No, it wasn't Longhorn Foghorn.
No, it was a bear.
Longhorn
Never mind,
Frog.
let's,
Huckleberry
Heavens to
Hound.
Murgatroyd.
Savory's right, there goes the night.
Who was it?
Bullwinkle?
Rocky and Bullwinkle show,
Yeah,
isn't that the one that said it?
No.
No,
Bullwinkle?
no, it wasn't Rocky Bullwinkle.
No, it was somebody on.
We're doing this on
Savory's
television, am I
Googling
right?
I mean,
Yes,
We're doing this, are we
Spell
televised doing
Murgatroyd.
this?
He'll
Yeah,
figure it
great,
out.
that's fun.
trivia time.
Savory
So
will
let
have
the
the
Conservation
answer.
Commission do it, I tried to figure out who that is.
Heavens to Murgatroyd. Why do
yeah,
you spell
because
Murgatroyd?
I gotta go home and watch.
Murgatroyd.
Murgatroyd.
Wow, never in a million years.
Oh,
Snugglepuss.
Snugglepuss.
Snagglepuss, yeah, okay.
oh,
What
Snagglepuss.
show?
Wow,
Snugglepuss.
really?
Snugglepuss.
He was
What
on
was
that
he?
show,
He's
that was
on,
on
Sesame Street.
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
What was Snagglepuss?
Yeah.
No.
Wasn't on
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
He was
No,
a pink
before-
cougar.
He was before Sesame
It
Street.
was a cougar,
Yeah, he was a cougar.
Yeah, a
Okay.
pink
a
cougar.
pink one.
We are so far off the rails.
It went from there, when it got
Murgatroyd.
canceled, it went from
Mr.
there to
Chairman, you've lost
the
control of your
insulation
board.
company.
All right.
Don't worry about it.
Went from there to the insulation company.
We're on our way to the asylum, all of us.
Yes, we are. It's no
I make a
doubt about
motion that we approve
We've
the
gone to
minutes.
hell in a handbasket.
I'll make
What
a
does that
motion
mean, anyway?
that
I
we
second that.
approve the minutes of March 20th as written.
I
Hell
second.
in a hand, hell.
Been
hell in a
moved
handbasket.
and seconded to approve the minutes of March 20th,
We're
2019,
dumb as a
as
doodle.
written.
What does that mean?
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
All those in favor, please say aye.
We're going to
Aye.
hell in a
Any
handbasket.
opposed?
We done?
I
Oh,
make
now
a
we gotta
motion
get
to
a
adjourn.
motion
I'll second
We need the
that.
next, we got the next
Would
meeting
you
date.
explain
We're
to
all
me
set.
what hell in a handbasket
Yeah,
means?
May
Wait a
1st. I'm
second.
not gonna make that
Motion
one.
to adjourn.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Let Mr. Chairman.
All
do
those
his
in
job.
favor?
Thank you, Mr.
Aye.
Chairman.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hey, Valor?
Pass unanimous.